Jesus didn't have a problem with people that's in the streets. He had a problem with religious people.
How can I help anybody when when I was not even able to help my own son?
I would never do that. I would never do that. And I became that in a matter of minutes when they took my pain pills away.
And I said, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
This is Faith in Your Recovery. I am Randy Davis. Welcome to the battle. Greetings and welcome. We're glad you've joined us today on this episode of the Faith in Your Recovery podcast. Have a guest here with us. I'll introduce him in just a moment. But before we do that, we always like to try to remind you to click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of these podcasts. We've got our QR code up. If you have a desire to help us out financially, we'd welcome that. We're just thankful you're with us. Our guest today from here in Anderson, Indiana at this time is Nate Cunningham. Welcome, Nate.
Hey, how you doing, Randy?
Doing good. We look forward to hearing your story today. Let's go ahead and start with life as it is. I've heard bits and pieces of your past. We'll get into that. You can tell that story. If I miss something, you go ahead and plug it in there wherever you need to. But tell us who Nate is today, what's going on professionally, personally. Just, let's get to know each other. Go ahead, please.
Well, about 3 years ago, I kind of lost everything. I became homeless, lost my home, lost my vehicle, lost all my possessions due to drug addiction, and it ended up going to prison. About 2 years ago now, I got a 4-year sentence. I had to serve 2 of it, and when I got out just 6 months ago, I didn't have anything. I had nowhere to go. I had no clothes. I had no money. I had nothing. I have a wife. Been married for 10 years this October. Been together for 15. She was actually in recovery too. She was staying at Willow Place when I got out of prison. And they just dropped me off at the Christian Center. And I wasn't really sure what the Christian Center was or what it was about, but I had nowhere else to go. And with being on parole, I had to have some place to stay. So I checked into the Christian Center. The first week or so, it was kind of rough getting to know the ropes and what you can do and can't do. And but fast forward just a few months, this place is Christian Center is saved my life. They do amazing work. They're very positive, very reinforcing. They help you with anything you need help with. I needed to get my driver's license. I needed to get just a plan for my future, get clothes, and they've helped me with all that. Ended up even getting a job here.
What kind of work you do here, Nate?
Well, I'm an electrician by trade. I've been doing electrical work for 20 years, but I do a little bit of everything. So I'm just the maintenance man. We do everything from plunging a toilet to installing new lights or, just whatever comes up during the day.
I'm going to guess you keep pretty busy at that rent. Here's quite a facility.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they own the whole block basically. So there's basically 5 buildings that, have to have complete maintenance every day.
For you, what has been the highlight of your time here? What has brought you the most peace, the most, inner comfort? No.
Being able to give back. I really enjoy helping people, making people smile. It helps when they're very appreciative, and people around here are very appreciative. I hear every day how much they appreciate what I do and how hard I work. And
what's future goals?
I don't really know. I've tried my whole life to make these long plans. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do that. And I just kind of always set myself up for failure. I'm just kind of leaving it in God's hands. I'm trying to say yes to things that I don't normally want to do. Like, this podcast, when you asked me to come on this podcast, did I really want to? Not really. I was a little nervous and didn't really want to, but you never know the doors that'll open. If you're obedient to God, I mean, he is faithful and he'll turn it back around.
We're going to get into that faithfulness to God thing here in just a little bit. We want to dig deeper into that. We call our organization A Better Life, Brianna's Hope. This podcast is an umbrella. or it's under the umbrella of that label,
Mhm.
but we call ourselves participant-driven, faith-based, compassion-filled. We're there for that struggler who's trying to fight that substance use disorder, that addiction, whatever that struggle may be in their life. So we believe in that God piece for certain. And I don't mean PIECE any more than I mean PEACE,
Yeah.
that one creates the other. So let's go back. You talk about your addiction issues. When did those begin and how, Nate?
Well, begin probably 4th grade. So
You're
when I was
10 years old there.
yeah. So when I was young, we're poor up till about 2nd grade. We were real poor. We were on food stamps, and then my stepdad and my mother hit the Powerball, $10.4 million, and it changed our life dramatically.
Oh, it certainly would.
Yeah, we had, jet skis and dirt bikes and cars. And I mean, it just every day was a party. And there was no Christ, no God, no nothing in any of it. And when I turned 10, I think when I was in 4th grade, my mom divorced my stepdad, and we moved to Lafayette for a year. She went out and bought a Camaro, brand new Camaro, and brought a bag of money home and brought me a Playboy and a 6-pack of beer, and said, "When you don't feel good, this is what you do."
This is what, at what age again?
10, 4th
Okay.
grade. I
Okay.
guess it'd be 10 or 11. So from there, I mean, just from 4th grade, a couple years before that, I remember feeling just kind of depressed and kind of down. I'd lay in bed in evenings and be scared to be by myself and not really sure why. But the alcohol and the pornography definitely helped with that. It helped me not have to feel, not have to hurt, not have to deal with things that I'm still not even sure to this day why I felt that way or still feel that way sometimes. But some of it's in God's timing, not mine, when I need to learn these things. So my addiction started, very, very young. I had my first DUI by the time I was 17. Second one by the time I was 19. Third one by the time I was 24. I was 24. I spent 6 months in prison for 3 DUIs. Probably shouldn't have went to prison for it, but when I went to court to see what was going to happen, I showed up drunk. So they didn't have much leniency. They sent me to prison for 6 months.
Did you serve the full 6?
Yeah, I mean, I did like a month in county. I did like 2 months in Atterbury, and then the rest of it was in like a work release. It's not there anymore down by Lucas Oil Stadium. So you would think that would be enough to wake me up. 3 DUIs, and so after 24, 25, I had some probation issues, but I finally got off all that and got away from it. And really drinking up till my late 30s, drinking was my big thing. I drank every day. There towards the end, I got to where I drank all day, every day. I couldn't even really maintain until I had a drink. Ended up, I had pancreatitis 3 times in 1 year. They told me if I drank again, it would kill me.
Got to think that would be physically dangerous.
Yeah, they hospitalized me for like 8 days each time, put me on Dilaudid, a pain medicine that I didn't know anything about. But the third time I got out of the hospital, they said I couldn't drink anymore. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Well, I found needles in my wife's purse, and apparently she'd been using them to get high. So I was like, well, this is what I'm going to do. That's what they did in the hospital. This is the profession. This is what doctors do. So I started actually trying to use a needle, and shooting methamphetamine and fentanyl. And that was 38 years old when I started all that. And that was the beginning of the end for sure.
So how long did you do that, Nate?
About 3 years.
Okay.
2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So where did that lead you to your next step?
Well, that ended up that the drug use, the needles and stuff ended up, I lost my job, I lost my house, I lost my vehicle. I lost pretty much everything. Lost my marriage.
That's where you were when you started this. You said you'd lost
Yeah.
basically everything, and
Yeah.
we're kind of back there now. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, it's all right.
All right. What was it then? Was prison next on the list at that time, or what took place in between there?
Yeah. So, you mean after I started using?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was homeless for a little over a year. I had a warrant, and I was kind of running from the law. I drove out to Ohio and did some camping out there, out in the middle of nowhere, and lived in the boonies for a couple months. And I ended up down in Florida, taking pictures at bars and selling the pictures to the bands that had played at the end of the night. And that's how I made my money. But then got to drinking again and ended up homeless on the beach, wrecked my car, stranded in Florida, ended up in the hospital again. Came back home, went right back to the same people, same places. And, it wasn't just a few months before things got bad. And cops got called one night when I was, got in an argument with my wife, and we were staying with some friends, kind of friends. And I'd seen a shotgun in the other room. Well, we argued, and I was going to kill myself. So I went in the other room, grabbed a shotgun, locked myself in the room, and passed out drunk. Next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital, cuffed to the bed.
Was your true intent to kill yourself at that time?
Yeah. I had thought about it. I had planned it out. I even knew where the gun was in the house. I knew the gun had ammunition in it. But by God's grace, when I got it to the room, there was no ammunition in it. Don't know what happened to it, but it wasn't there.
So you spent how long in prison then?
I did almost 2 years, like 19 months. I did 10 months of it at the county jail over here. And then,
okay.
Where
does the faith factor start to play into all of this, Nate? That God piece, where does that come in?
Well, I'm still working on it. I'm still working real hard on
buddy.
it. I got saved actually when I was 26. It was after, and I'm not sure, thinking back now, like, was I really seeking God, or did I just want everybody to think I'm doing better than what I am? Because, that was when I had my third DUI thereabouts, and I wanted people to think I was doing good. But I mean, I really think I met Jesus and I got the Holy Spirit when I was about 26. And I would do good for a while, and then I would backslide. And it's just amazing how we can lie to ourselves and think we surround ourselves with people that don't do as good as us. So we can look at ourselves and, we're doing okay
better
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. We compare instead of honestly looking in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like today, I surround myself with amazing people, with, good, big hearts, Christian men that really want to see me succeed. And it's amazing the difference that it makes in the people you surround yourself with.
They lift us up and challenge us to lift ourselves as well.
Yeah.
We all need that role model. Obviously, the ultimate's Jesus Christ. But I see Jesus in people, and I want what they've got. I don't want theirs. I want my own. But I respect so much who they are and what they're about that, I'd be better off more like this person and that person at times, ultimately pleasing Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the steps that brought you to your faith today?
Just everything else, nothing else worked. It's kind of just I tried everything else. I tried the drugs, I tried the alcohol, I tried I made really good money as an electrician. I gambled and made good money doing that sometimes. Nothing filled that God-shaped hole.
And it won't.
No, I wish I could say, I knew God was the answer, and that's where I went. But I marked everything else off the list before I, decided I'd surrender. And I didn't really have a good understanding of who God was. I never had a father. My grandpa was kind of like my father, but he died when I was 18. So I really didn't understand what a good father, or any kind of father, was, for that matter. And so I didn't really know how to respond to God when I really met him the first time. And
was it would you call this a process, or was there a moment when that light clicked on?
Yeah, I didn't have the click on light moment. I mean, and it's still a daily, like I wake up some days and I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to open my Bible. I don't want to go to devotion. I don't want to do any of those things. Um, I wish, well, I shouldn't say I wish I did, but you hear the stories of people that, like something happened in their life and it was so traumatic or big that they flipped 180 degrees right there and never went back. I'm a little more hard-headed than that.
Well, you know what? God's not hard-hearted, so he respects that, and he knows that, okay?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sure that hard-headedness got you through some of those nights of,
Yeah.
the humility of homelessness and other instances. Had you not been a stubborn type, you wouldn't be with us today. But God's giving you those chances. You're taking advantage. You're growing in it.
Yeah.
It's a terrible illustration, but as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are we.
Yeah.
God created us in a flash, but we grow into that relationship over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a song years ago, it said time is spelled Love. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Out of his love, we continue to move forward and to grow. What's on your radar right now for yourself spiritually, for yourself as far as actual continuing your relationship with God? How are you going to make all of that happen, Nate?
So, well, I'm not going to make it happen. I'm going to try to be obedient to the opportunities that God puts in front of me, and hopefully it can happen through that. I've been going to a couple different men's groups, but one's at New Life Church here in Anderson. Pastor Vaughn Walker and Sean Harrison also goes there.
Know both those guys.
Yeah.
Think a lot of them.
Great gentlemen. But they got a Knights of the 21st Century. It's kind of a video study. I think it was 64 weeks, or it was a lot.
That is
almost a year's worth. So it wouldn't have been 64 then. But anyway, we just finished that and we're graduating and we're talking about what to do next. And we thought maybe not the Knights of the 21st Century, but we're going to bring some sort of the Bible study stuff that we do on Tuesdays. We're going to bring it here to the Christian Center and try to get some guys involved that want to change. And because you can't help somebody that, I mean, there's nothing you could have said to me my entire life that was going to change what I was going to do. I was going to do what I was going to do, and it had to run its course. And, the people that thought they were helping me were really probably enabling me. So I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the enabler, but I do want to be able to provide resources to people that do want to get help and do want to know Christ. And
it takes your input. I can want it for y'all. I want it. I can offer you anything I have and more. Mm-hmm. And you may take it, but until you invest yourself in mm-hmm. it. I interviewed someone a while back. They said they could go through any treatment standing on their head because they've done it so many times. Because they've done it so many times. But the one time they got serious about it, it was more of a task than that. And today they're reaping those benefits instead of paying the consequences.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's where, you're finding yourself. You want it to be genuine. Mm-hmm. You want to build yourself up with it. What's advice you would give to someone else who's searching for a recovery style format?
So I think to each their own, really. Like, so I know Brianna's Hope. I actually used to go to Brianna's Hope in Alexandria. Scott Owens, he's kind of the director over the Church Street Commons there. And we used to meet in the basement of there.
Yep.
And I really like Brianna's Hope. I grew up going to AA meetings because my mom always dragged me there. And it was just, I just remember like getting hit in the head with a pool stick because I walked too close to the pool table and it being smoky and just foul mouth. Like, AA, I got burnt out bad on AA before I even knew what drinking was. So when it came time to, I started getting in trouble with drinking and they started forcing me to go to AA, that made it even worse.
The shield was there. You'd already built the wall.
Like, and I mean, to this day, people start talking about 12 steps and I just kind of cringe a little bit. I'm like, and I mean, the good thing about 12 step is it's all Bible based. It's directly from the Bible. But a lot of AA groups twist it around. And that's what I like about Brianna's Hope. They don't. It's all about Jesus. Every Brianna's Hope I ever went to was just a really good Bible study. And I felt good leaving. AA meetings, I want to go to the bar when I leave.
I've heard that more than once, and you can substitute recovery organization names and letters, both sides of that, wanting to go to the bar afterwards or getting a bunch from it.
Yeah.
I think all of that points back to the idea, if there was one thing that worked for everybody, you and I wouldn't be here today. You'd be in that meeting, or I would, or anybody else who's struggling. So we've got to find the path that works for us. 12-step, wow, it's been around longer than anything else in a successful way. My personal opinion, I have not been involved with 12-step. I think it could use some updating. That's all I'll say about it. Not going to be critical. I just think times have changed and some of their wording and steps. At least the process through the steps need to change. I'll leave that to them. I'm not going to do that. But those who find their peace, find their recovery on journey A, B, or C, just need to commit to it. And
I just had to find the bottom of the barrel. And when you think I'd found it, I'd pick the shovel up again.
What was the bottom of the barrel for you? Can you describe that, Nate?
It was waking up in the hospital knowing I'm going to jail. And I mean, I had potentially had 15 years they could have gave me if I would have got charged with everything. That waking up with nothing, knowing that I wasn't going to be getting out of jail anytime soon, was probably going to go to prison, probably going to be for a long time. I thought I'd lost my whole family, my everything.
Waking up with nothing and losing all of that.
So, I mean, my bottom of the barrel was literally, I had nothing left. Everything I'd ever collected or saved or bought or passed down from my grandparents to me, I lost it all. And that was but I mean, I'd lost it all so many times before, but I always had a grandma that was there. She always, I guess she'd say she enabled me at this point, but she's always been right there next to me. She's always been like my mother. And yes, she enabled me, but I wouldn't be here without her.
Those were going to be my exact words.
Yeah.
Enabling does not have to be a totally negative thing. I once did a long-term study on what I called survival lies, and how without that lie, I wouldn't have made it to tomorrow, to make it to the next day, to get to the recovery I have today. I'm not supporting lying. I am not saying that in any way, shape, or form, but I get it.
Yeah.
And if I was at that point where it meant life or death, eating or not eating, having a blanket or not a blanket, I'd probably be into it much more.
I was talking to my grandma last night, and she said, is there anything I could have done to make life easier on you? Like, she says, I thought I did everything right, but she says, I think I enabled you in a lot of things. And I told her, I said, honestly, I think it went the only way it could. I mean, if it went another way, I could have resented her and been mad at her, and we could have not had a relationship at all. I could have been dead because, she helped me out of some situations that, there was there was no way I was going to get out of it myself. So the answer was, I think everything worked out just the way it's supposed to.
We don't always see it in the middle,
No.
When we're in the middle of the woods, all we see are the trees, not that open fence. It's just steps away from us. Yeah.
just one day at a time. I mean, because I have no idea what I'm gonna feel like when I wake up tomorrow. I mean, that's even being sober. Like I don't know. Maybe I should be on some sort of medication, but I have days where I just don't want to do the things that I know I need to do, and I can't do.
You want to know what? I don't know with your situation, that take physical, et cetera, and et cetera. But I've had my days, I just soon stay under the blanket as well, or in front of the fan, depending on
Yeah.
the season, and not go out.
But then I get depressed that I didn't get up and do anything that day. It's like you give your flesh what you think it wants or what it needs, and then you find out it's not what it needed
it
at all.
lies to you the next day.
It does.
Yeah. You're back at it again. And it's usually if I'd only done the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I get down though. I mean, prison, if nothing else, it gave me a point of reference in my mind to go back to when it was just horrible. I mean, just horrible. I mean, getting in fights, getting beat up. Prison is just not fun. I mean, I'm sure it is for some people. Like some people just party. That's their all their cousins and friends and everybody's there, and they know everybody. But if you're not in the clique, it's definitely not a fun place to be. And to know you're going to be there a while, it's miserable. So that's what I go back to when I'm thinking I'm having a bad day. I'm like, well, it could be worse. Amen, brother.
Yeah. That reminds me of a question I've asked a couple other of our guests. I'm going to go ahead and ask you. Let me frame it this way. How much total time would you say you've spent in incarceration?
Well, total incarceration.
Ballpark.
So I did 6 months when I in my 20s, and then I did almost 2 years. So probably close to 3 years.
Okay. Close enough.
I mean, because I did some work release too, and that's
okay.
Really incarceration. So
how much time homeless?
Not much. Up until the last few years, like I had family, I had my grandma and people that wouldn't let me go homeless, and they would pay my bills if I spent it gambling or spent it drinking or whatever the case may be, and I was in a tight spot. So, but then me and my grandma she broke her hip and ended up in the hospital and in the nursing home, and our relationship kind of got messed up there, and I ended up homeless. So I was probably homeless for 8 or 9 months.
Okay. Let's do the best you can answering this. Let's equalize those. Let's say you had 2 years incarceration, 2 years homeless.
I actually enjoyed the homelessness. It wasn't.
You just answered my question. I was going to ask you which one was the most difficult.
So I love being out in the woods. I like those survival shows like Alone, where they just drop you out in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, that's what homeless is like. Like you just got to figure it out. Like, and I didn't stay like around people and places. Like I always went out in the woods and built me a little cabin. And then another place I found a concrete structure that had insulation on board on the inside, and the door was unlocked. So I put my own lock on it and made a little house inside of there. And, I hunted and fished, and I ran around barefoot.
Full enough that you were good with all of that.
Then winter came though. And I did some electrical work for a guy, and he was letting us stay in his house for a week. And that's where I ended up getting in trouble and getting arrested.
Yeah. So, all right. What is the advice you would give to someone who's going through the lifestyle you lived? If they were,
hold on,
kind of following
on
Nate's footsteps.
Yeah.
What do you mean by hold on tight?
Because it was a wild ride. I mean, I've done so many things. I've had a lot of fun, but I mean, I've hurt a lot of people. And at the end of the day, with addiction, it was all about me. I thought I was doing it for other people or this, but I mean, it's selfish. And you have to get away from it far enough to actually even see that it's selfish. But my advice to them would be just stop. Please stop. If you can learn by somebody else's example, learn by mine. And it's, and that's what we want for our kids. You want to tell your kids, hey, I did this. I lived through this. Don't do that. And they, most kids are going to do it anyway. Everybody has to experience it for themselves.
Do you have children?
I got stepchildren. Yeah, I've got 3 of them. Got a boy, Josh. He's 20. Needy is 23 and Sarah is 25. The two older girls, they have 2 children of their own. So I have 4 grandchildren and a 5th one on the way.
So do they know your story? The
Absolutely.
children?
Yeah. I've been with their mother for 15 years, helped raise them. And yeah, they're all good kids. They all go to church at Life Church in Pendleton.
Are you guys at a good place relationally?
Yeah.
You with the kids?
Yeah. We my
Hooray.
wife's birthday was this last weekend. We actually went and stayed in a hotel Saturday night. Sunday night, we got up and went to church. My son got baptized and gave his testimony. Then we went to my daughter's house, and
Not
all
a
the
bad
grandkids
day.
were there, and the in-laws were there, and we had food and toys and children, and yeah, it was a great day. I mean, those are the days I live for anymore.
And I'll tell you, beyond anything you've mentioned here today, and I'm not diminishing any of that, once you become a grandparent, there's nothing like it in my book. If I'd
Yeah.
known it was this good,
Yeah.
I'd have skipped having our 2
Yeah.
boys that we loved and do love dearly.
It's
But
the same love you had for your kids, but it's a little better because you're not like so responsible for.
That's it.
You-
Yeah. And
You can love your grandchildren fully.
you can get away with enabling them,
Yeah,
all
you can.
right,
Yeah,
for
you
the
can.
good times and those fun moments. Yeah. What is there a goal on the table for you for the future professionally? Do you see yourself moving away? Do you see yourself going back to that electrician's trade? Help us out with
Yeah,
that.
I'm just gonna right now. I'm just gonna try to see where God's gonna lead me. I mean, because just going back to making good money is not necessarily gonna make me happy.
Amen.
I'm gonna have to be around people that I don't typically. I mean, like right now, it's perfect. Like I can surround myself with all good Christian men. Yes, I live at the Christian Center, but I mean, you don't have to be around the people that you don't want to be around. So I mean, like I have really no temptation right now. I get out of bed and I walk 15 feet and I'm at work. Like I've got it really easy right now, but hopefully in the next 5 years, I'll be able to have somewhat of a life back again where I could have my grandchildren come over to my house and maybe stay the night and take them on vacation.
Great plans. Now, if this is a question you don't want to answer, don't do it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm going to ask you about your wife. You had mentioned she had struggled for years with her own addictions.
Mhm.
Is she in a good place?
She is. She's been
Awesome.
sober a little bit over a year. Willow Place, just over here on the old work release, actually. She was living there, and she kind of got moved up. She's sort of a house mom now. So
Hooray.
they've rented another house where 3 of the ladies that are house moms kind of live in. So she's talking about getting on a couple boards for a couple different recovery things. Not really sure if I should say what the ones are. So
No, that's
but
okay.
she's super into the recovery and helping people that were struggling like we did. So that's what her.
Awesome. And that's what it takes, or one of you's going to end up back where you were. But as both of you try to climb that same ladder of sobriety and being away from the drug, you stand a far better chance.
Yeah, we've been together 15 years, but just in the last 6 months, we've had to learn to get to know each other again. Because we drink every day. So we didn't even know each other when I got out of prison.
Not as sober individuals anyway, right?
No, God, I was like, man, I'm not even sure I'm going to like her. Like this is.
It's not the first time I've heard that story, okay, or that challenge between each other.
We got good church family. It's helping us. It's actually a couple that does the marriage counseling and stuff at Life Church. There, we're going to dinner with them tonight, actually, in Pendleton, and
awesome.
Sort of a little marriage counseling dinner, kind of. They're great people.
We all need those kind of people in our lives. Those who have been there and done that. And have been what we call successful at it,
Yeah.
that's who we learn from. That's who we have mentor us instead of those who have served the same time we have or gone through all those struggles. It's okay to get out of that, to get,
Yeah.
to step out of that box, out of that circle,
Mm-hmm.
and hang with somebody we know is going to be a powerful, positive influence. Yeah.
The Grant family, it's Phil and Jan Grant. They live over here just kind of just on the south side of town, or north side of town, sorry. And they do so much for couples at the church. Like they have 2 months ago, we had an amazing race. So all the couples from the church came out, and they had little stations set up. One was karaoke, one was dancing, one was shooting a BB gun, one was throwing an addle, and we had to run from each one of these places and then all finish at the end. And, of course, the winners got prizes. But, and then we had a camp out, and they've got a little cabin that anytime you want, if you're part of the church and you're a couple, you can take your wife or your husband out there and just hang out and just enjoy the countryside and the woods. And
those are special people that
they
opened, not just their house, but obviously their hearts.
Yeah, their whole life is devoted to helping married couples, and I think it's amazing. They're amazing people.
Well, I'm sure they're just as amazed at you guys getting to see and be a part of that change. Yeah. Listen, we're getting near the end here, Nate. Is there anything else you want to say? Any advice you'd like to offer? Words of encouragement, a favorite scripture, or anything else?
Not really. Just, if you're struggling, keep your head up. Tomorrow will be a new day. Today might have been hard, but tomorrow might not be as hard. And God's got you. Just keep your head up and stay in the scripture.
God's got you. I like those 3 words. It's fact for sure.
Sure.
And as we always like to say here, Faith in Your Recovery, stay in the battle. And that's kind of what you're saying. Stay on top of whatever's trying to drag you down. Yes, you may find your answer around the next corner, or in the next prayer, or in the next scripture. That just may be the kick in the spiritual tail that you need to be able to move forward in the way that God's created you to move forward. Folks, be blessed. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your time. Nate, we appreciate your time. We'll continue to pray for you and your family.
Thank you.
Folks, we love you. God bless. As always, stay in the battle. Amen.
Have a great day. Thanks, Randy.